This is Boxing Tickets NI. We are here at Anderson Gym and delighted to be joined by Dan Anderson. It's been 6 months and sort of starting an interview off with a smile. About this time last year we were here, we were both shivering in the gym, there was no heating.
No, a whole year ago, it was January, December, it was absolutely Baltic.
So obviously we've got heat as well, so obviously you've delivered on the promise. I guess obviously, if I think back to the last interview we done probably about 6 months ago, you were sort of at that stage, you'd one fighter, and obviously you were saying you had opportunities there for others to join the gym, but obviously you were looking for quality rather than quantity. And I guess obviously the proof in the pudding, obviously you've signed a really good friend, obviously you've known for years, known Neill, and obviously the returning Katelyn Phelan as well. So obviously everything you sort of predicted, sort of like Mystic Dan, everything you sort of said 6 months ago, and obviously even a year ago was saying you were getting heating and you're delivering on what you're saying.
I've always been a man of my word, so a lot of people obviously like to talk but don't back it up. So I always like to be remembered as someone who backed up exactly what he was going to do. So if I say I'm going to do something, like I said, I was going to open the gym 12, 13 years ago when I first started personal training, and some people were like, oh, you're going to open your own gym, and so now we're sitting in my own gym. Boxing's been a real journey for me, from my own career right through obviously now as a coach, but anything that I set out to do in this sort of journey, I've started to do it, and I'm sort of, I'd say I'm in a pretty good position now, and I've sort of got the stable of fighters that I always sort of aspired to have, and I sort of understand that it's a process, and it's a trusting process, because like, I think fighters need to watch you being successful essentially for them to go, I think I want a bit of that. And like the quality of the training here, which obviously when you talk to my fighters they'll attribute to, that we do have high standards, and that's something that I think my background of a qualification in strength and distance, as well as obviously my extensive career so far, it's 10 years now, over 10 years now, as far back as he started Paddy's career, it's 2012. Jeez, we're nearly 11 or 12. I don't, the years are flying by, but as we've talked before, I served my time. I worked in other gyms, I worked with our coaches, I worked a lot of things out, and I've seen a lot in boxing that I really respect, and I've seen a lot that I took from other sort of experiences as a fighter, working with different coaches, and then obviously as a coach working with other coaches, and it's just sort of finding what's the best practice for me, and what's best practice for my fighters essentially. And I think now we're getting to the era of now where I'm going to start making a stab at this, and you're hopefully going to see this wall. I call this the Wall of Fame. Behind us is just Paddy, Gallagher, a couple of wee amateur titles, big shout out actually, big Lex West in there, fighting in the elites here next week. So one of the amateurs I'm working with, and young TJ Gallagher, a very promising talent. He's only 19, and there's his wee Ulster title there we won last year. So, so still obviously a bit involved with amateur boxing, helping out in Emerald, and great club, great coach in JP, and a couple of our great coaches there, and some great amateurs coming through. But I'm still trying my best to help it as much as possible there. But obviously a lot of focus now is on Anderson boxing. It's not Anderson Gym, it's Anderson boxing. Get that right.
I guess, you know, anything obviously, particularly with the role in fitness and everything else, it's having goals and being accountable to that. I guess if you can't stick to your goals and everything else, it's hard for fighters or hard for people going into the gym to then be able to, they need a leader to follow. So by you leading and following through facts and what you say you're going to do, then that obviously holds them accountable then in such a way to go, well, you're not telling me you're going to do something, you don't do it, you're delivering through that as well. So I guess the power's on you there, where you're telling people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this in the future, and you're delivering on it. So it's only going to bode well for obviously anybody that's even coming here to do personal training sessions, or whether it's obviously fighters, amateur or professional, they know that they're coming here to someone they can trust. You can throw me that $5 afterwards, by the way, for a compliment, but it's true, and that obviously people...
Nice to get a compliment.
People obviously aspire, you know, obviously see in boxing, the success through success, someone is stable,
it's our best sport.
Champion.
It's our best sport, really, isn't it?
Somebody becomes a champion and someone else in the stable becomes a champion because they've seen someone to lead through. So obviously you're that good leadership there. But like when we think of Irish boxing over the last 12 months, we've got 15 shows last year. We obviously already have a couple of shows announced, and obviously another couple will probably announced in the next couple of weeks. So like, what a time for obviously you getting new fighters in the door. Obviously they both fought before as professionals as well, but what a time for you to implement your style with with your new fighters and also with Conor Kerr as well, with having so much shows. Keeps them in the gym, keeps them away from getting fat out of the gym, which is exactly what you want.
That guy, well, as I said, at high standards is massive. At here at Anderson Boxing, it's something that I'm always questioning. So like some coaches sort of like obviously create a system and think that's right, that's a system that works, whereas I'm never going to create a system that I'm going to think that's the one way of doing it. So I think it's a very dangerous thing to say like that's the way we've always done it. So and I'll never say that. And if I say that, you can correct me and go, Dan, you said you'd never say that. But like I think constantly refining and questioning best practice. So that's something that I'm hypercritical of myself. I read boxing books consistently. I do a lot. I don't read them physically now. I do Audible. So I've listened to like 8 boxing books over Christmas because I'm so interested in the sports psychology behind. I think the best one recently would have been Andre Ward, and then from a coaching perspective, Teddy Atlas. I'm just very interested to hear their journeys and they can pick me things up and things to say to fighters and then I'm always sort of refining like why have they been so successful? So what have I to do to get there as a coach and what can I do to help my fighters to get there? Like what do I need that wee bit extra sometimes in the corner to maybe say or what do we need to work on more in the gym? Even Frampton's book, I have to say, Frampton's book was really inspirational.
I've only got about 2 chapters in, I guess. Sometimes with obviously doing interviews and obviously keeping an eye for fight news and everything else, you sometimes forget your own life, you know, and obviously as you'll do as well, and you know we've other halves and stuff as well. We obviously have to entertain there.
So
as
much
well.
Commitment. There's a lot of commitment.
But I've got about 2 chapters in, and I'm sort of going. I'll set it down. I've done the same with Ian McGee's book as well. I started I think I got 2 chapters and didn't set it down. I still haven't looked at it 3 or 4 years later. I've got about 15 books in the house. I probably had to go like yourself and go audio, you know, so I can do things in the background. But you know, I guess in any way, you're not obviously reading the books to copy someone, you're obviously looking for their best practices, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, it's knowledge.
I guess the most thing is obviously your personal skills and obviously someone being able to copy what you do. You know, you're looking for wee techniques, sort of what they would do. I
think a lot for me to be said is how you treat other people. So, like obviously I've got my wee sort of brand saying stay humble and stuff. And staying grounded, like, do you know what I mean? Because it's very easy, like, oh, I've got great fighters, right, going places, and like it's very easy to get sort of caught up in that. And I'm not gonna, like, I've got my wife to keep me very grounded. She's not let me get too ahead of myself, and I've got good people around me to keep me grounded. And I think as a coach, like, there's a shitload of discipline. Like, I had a lot of discipline when I was fighting, when I really took it serious as an amateur, and I didn't get really far, as I've always said, but I got a lot of experience, and I feel my career, I think I've talked about this before, it really set me up to become the coach. So I had an amateur career that set me up to be a coach. It didn't set me up to go on and do great things and go to the Olympics and box for Ireland, but it set me up to understand best practice and how I've been treated. I know when I've been treated very well over the years in different gyms and around different, obviously I've been around top coaches like Jerry Story Jr. when I was younger, and even Ian and Michaela's dad, Damien, very close to me, good coach, and some great teams in the Dockers as well. There's some great teams down there, but even as far back as then, I was actually talking to Paddy McCrory about this, that I was watching boxing in my teenage years and I was sometimes more interested in what the corner was saying, and I didn't even click on. Like even in my 20s I was listening to the corner, but yet I wasn't in corners then. Like in my early 20s, it was about my mid 20s sort of that I started to do corners and get involved with Paddy and stuff. But it's weird because maybe from a very young age that this is maybe a destination that I was going, and I didn't even see it, that I was more interested in the corner sometimes. It was obviously extremely interested in what the fighters do, you know what I mean, you're watching a fight, but I always had a lot of interest to hear what the corner was saying, so, and that's me obviously doing that, you know what I mean, and this year it's going to be at a higher level than obviously last, and I think that's going to continue for me. I think that the platform's going to build itself through obviously having quality in the gym and consistently working with great fighters, but as I said, it's what you want to be remembered for. You want to be remembered for as a good guy that helped a lot of people through boxing and through the sport, and I think that's why I still feel like the need to have to be involved in the amateur sort of say the things for as much as it can be. But I think to get back to the point I went off on there, discipline for me has become massive. Even working hard on myself, doing triathlons and different things to stay in shape, because I need to be in shape for the fighters I'm training. I need to be able to hold the pad, so I'm staying strong and just looking after my body and looking after my mind, and a big part of that is going out walking and listening to books, and so sometimes listening to stuff and you're listening to maybe something someone else done, or you're maybe relating to how they felt or stuff they went through, like Terry Atlas, a big scar on his face. I have a scar on my face, and fucking Andre Ward dabbling with a bit of drugs and stuff when he's younger, and I'm like, well, I fucked about with drugs when I was younger and made them stupid mistakes. So you're sort of relating and you're going, God, I've a lot more in common with these people maybe than I thought I would, and God, they've came from similar sort of past. But discipline for me is massive at the minute, because they see to run a gym, try my best to be a husband, always try my best, and to train professional and amateur fighters. I have to be switched on, like my clothes are laid out every night before I go to bed. Everything's organised so I can just go up, bang, right where I need to be, what have I got going on, like, do you know what I mean? But I love what I'm doing as well, and that's really half the battle. I'm in a position where I'm really, really enjoying this process. And I said there was a couple of years, obviously Harrison Jameson passed away a while back, and then last year there was times where it was very, very tough and sometimes daunting, and there was a year where I couldn't get my amateur course and no pros, and I've sort of I've had a real journey in this gym, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, and I just sort of feel like I've worked extremely hard to be in this great position that I'm in and have great fighters walking through the door every day, and I think that's going to continue. Like, do you know what I mean? I've even had fighters reaching out to me that want to do part of their camp with me, that are with other coaches and stuff, and obviously if they're happy, geez, I've had, you know what I mean, young Gregor McPherson, I know his father wasn't well there, and I sort of helped out and organised some sparring for him. He's fighting here. He's fighting next week, actually, the week after, on his Kinnock show over in Scotland. But even being able to help people, because I get shitload out of helping people. That's when I feel best with myself. And I'm going to quote Muhammad Ali: "The service you give to others is the rent you pay to be in this world." And I really believe that. Obviously, servicing the world and helping the world be better, and helping young women and young men become better people through boxing. It helped me and it done that, so if I can do that, then I've left a good legacy. You look at the great stick Ben Neill, look at what he left a legacy of people that went on to have good lives because he gave them the right advice at the right time and maybe give them the right support at the right time, and I feel like I'm able to do that through my gym and boxing.
Obviously, just want to cast aside from yourself a moment. Obviously, I'm just thinking, obviously you were mentioning Paddy and obviously mentioning Lewis Crocker, you obviously helped out as well. Lewis,
just where I can.
Lewis obviously was co-main event obviously against Tyrone McKenna in the Battle of Belfast in December. Obviously the two of them starting off the year with a bang. Obviously Lewis is headlining card 2 weeks tomorrow, Belfast and Ulster Hall. Second time headlining Ulster Hall. And Paddy's obviously Paddy's headlining obviously against Balanga in Florida, Orlando, Florida next month as well.
Paddy as well too, they're very friendly.
We've obviously both sort of come along with obviously both of them fighters to certain degrees. Obviously you've been involved with both of them in camps and stuff as well. Is it great, even though that sort of, and in some ways you're still connected with both obviously?
Oh, I keep in touch with both,
but
he's home,
But Paddy, obviously Paddy manages obviously Owen Neill as well, so
it
sort of went full circle on that as well. But isn't it great to see obviously people that's come through the small hall circuit now obviously getting their massive opportunities?
Unbelievable. And just touching on that, so obviously I have worked with Lewis, I've done his corner, and I'm really, really happy for him. He came to me in a place where he wasn't in a good place before he went to Billy, and he was trying to get the ball rolling and sort of back and forward sorting things out, and I was trying to help him as much as possible. And as I said, my mission is to help, and if I can help, and then obviously yes, my mission is to be successful too. I've ambitions to fill in this wall full of belts and photos of successful fighters that have done well through Anderson boxing and leave a bit of a legacy, do you know what I mean? And hopefully bring coaches through that can take over when I'm at a point where I'm like, right, I can't hold them pals anymore. I've done enough of that, my body's beat out. But I think especially for Lewis, a lot of people are saying, I think someone's going to beat him, and I really rate someone's a top guy and a real great fighter and had a great career. But people are saying Lewis hasn't had this and that, and I'm like, I first hand had Lewis in the pads in here doing hundreds of rounds with him in here, and even before here up in Gallagher at one point. I've seen how good Lewis is first hand, and people are I know but Jones and this and that, and I'm I know but you really don't have a clue how technically good Lewis is. Everyone thinks he's a puncher, he's that. Lewis is an outstanding boxer as well. Get that heater back on.
Put the heat back on again, you see the light changing.
Can't have it on forever, we'll be skinned. But Lewis is technically for me an absolute wizard, and I love having him because there's certain things he does, and he picks few things up and he says, don't be giving that away. And I'm oh God, well, I can't say that I might not use it, but I'm not giving them away. But it was just an unbelievable talent that people are only starting to see now. And I wished him I come up with my Instagram there. 2020, I was actually doing his corner at the time. I think I was just performing in Lock. I can't remember. We were in gym coat, and I had my arm around him and taking a photo. And it's happy birthday, champ 2020. It might have been 2019. Then we were in the 2020. I'm trying to think back. I was like the year of the croc. I put up, and I reposted it. I was like, sorry, no, 2024. Correct myself. Is the year of the croc. So I think this is the year you're going to see the best of Lewis Crocker. And as I said, I've personally seen him in the gym, and I've seen how good he is. And it's great to see him shining. And big Paddy, Jesus.
Just before you obviously touch on the Paddy, sorry, for obviously years everybody's known, obviously since Lewis turned pro in 2017, everybody's known of the talent that's there. It was initially signed, and a lot of people don't realise this, it was initially signed by Frank Warren. Obviously he was only getting them Frampton cards, so he was sort of, like I can remember him fighting in Frampton cards in the Ulster Hall. No, he's not the Ulster Hall, SSE Arena, and it was a float fight, and obviously he was sleeping on the floor and everything else like that. People have known the talent he's had for years. He's sparking people out in the amateurs. Isn't it great that obviously he can finally now, people's now seeing in the ring what obviously everybody's known for years about Lewis?
Okay, definitely, and like I have a really, really good bond with Lewis and a good friendship, and I hope to continue that. And my door's always going to be open. Although obviously he's Billy Nelson's fighter, like I feel like he's more than welcome here, and I think that's sort of what I think that's maybe always helped me sort of maybe stand out. That like, even if I'm not their head trainer, I don't mind helping out work on a wee bit too, like, do you know what I mean? But no, it's great, it's really great to see because he deserves it. Like, and he's worked so hard, and people won't have seen the down times. Like, I've seen him in a bad place where he's sort of struggling with and things not going his way, and now to see him in a good place and see him getting what we all know, like Lewis is obviously looking potentially going to be our headline act going forward. And I think I find this frustrating that people are like, oh, him and Paddy Donovan. I'm like, whoa. Let Paddy Donovan fly the kite down south, let Lewis fly the kite here in the north, let all the other fighters piggyback off them. There's loads of time to match them too if they stay at the same weight, so whatever way it works out. Like, I find that frustrating when people are like, there are two best prospects, two potentially best prospects at one of the most exciting weights of welterweight and each other now. It's like, whoa, slow down. Everyone else wants to go, like, do you know what I mean? And people don't realise that when one fighter, obviously boxing, people realise, but people that aren't big into boxing sense or maybe don't know that like when one fighter's doing really well and headlining bills, everyone else gets the opportunities based on that. And obviously Mick's done a great job over the years. Look at the amount of people got opportunities off the back of Mick's career, like unbelievable. A lot of people
Paddy being one of them. Obviously I think 4 cards have been on, and obviously it's now built on this stage of obviously headlining in Orlando.
100%, and even Ryan Burnett as well. Like a lot of people got. Paddy was on shows around Burnett's and then right back to the Frampton days. Paddy would have been the shows, but like when one fighter's doing really well, everyone else gets to sort of feed off that essentially. And look at Paddy, geez, Paddy has one of my best mates essentially, sort of feels like now. I would talk to him on the regular, and I'm always sort of like, if any way I can help him or in any way possible. But good friend as well, and he's good for me too. Geez, he helps me at times. He's good for advice and stuff. Had a long, extensive career in both amateur and professional boxing, but to see him on that big stage, like Jesus, like I would love to go, like, but I actually, my family have a home out there. My brother's wife's, my brother's mother and father-in-law have a holiday home in Florida, and we were actually there for a stag one time. It's not far from the venue and stuff. Had things been a bit more, I've just loads going on. I've got Connor fighting, I'm going straight into a fight with Katelyn, I'm going straight into a fight with Owen. Had not been such a rigorous schedule, and I'm waiting Lanzarote for a week in the middle of that in a couple of weeks' time. So hadn't it been such a regular schedule, and I hadn't had that week booked, I'd have definitely loved the event, like, and I could have keys that house probably, but I know her family might be there, like, but just frustrated a wee bit, but I love to be there. But Paddy's such a legend, and he's such a good guy, and he's just a prime example of like, stay humble, stay grounded, keep working, keep knocking people out, and the opportunities, the doors that open are scary. You know, if you can box and you can punch, geez, like you're in a great position. Like, do you know what I mean?
I obviously not going to get to Orlando as well, but the way I'm looking at it is Paddy's 2 fights that I haven't seen, that I haven't been there for. Both been away shows, obviously one in Germany, one in obviously in England in lockdown, and it was 2 wins and 2 stoppages. So me not going to Orlando, Florida,
maybe
it's going to be 3-0 with 3 stoppages. So I'm not going to be allowed for Paddy away days. So that's why I'm sort of looking at it and going,
nice
me not going could obviously lead to a stoppage winning. and obviously you know that's what we all want. We want them to win. Obviously, going back to obviously your stable there, and obviously you're saying the fighters coming through. Like you obviously have Connor. Obviously, is going to be first out. Obviously, in Martin Lobshaw. I think 5 weeks' time is third pro fight. Do you sort of look at this year? I guess in the weight class he's in, there's not a lot of fighters there. But are you obviously? I know Connor would jump into a title fight tomorrow. Are you obviously looking at getting him a title fight before the end of the year?
We're already looking at it. We'll take like. Connor has an extensive amateur pedigree, and what we're finding with Connor, and I found that second fight, is the lesser opponent's not going to bring out the best in Connor. Do you know what I mean? Because of the extensive amateur pedigree and background. Like sometimes he's switching off because there's someone in front of him not throwing. Then like they'll throw a shot out of nowhere. I don't know, obviously you don't want him to switch off ever, but like sometimes he's doing that much work, and the guy's obviously just not offering much back. I think like when guys start to open up, like Connor can punch, like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's not been sort of shown, like, do you know what I mean? So I think when they open up, you'll see the best of Connor landing sort of better shots and maybe getting more sort of destructive wins. So my thought process with Connor now obviously is to try and, yes, he can box, I know he can box, I want to see him going out and being a bit more aggressive, a bit more destructive. It's like a seek and destroy year for Connor. Like I want to see him sitting down a bit, and we've talked about it, and I'm sure he sort of knows, he understands that that's what we need to do. But I think Connor potentially fighting for a title this year. Obviously the other two we'll talk about in a second, but I bare minimum would like to see Connor win a Celtic or Irish title this year. Like, so he's more than good enough in my eyes, and it's just trying to find the right opponent. I know obviously you can look at Rudy Farrell, we can look at George Hughes and see them. It's just potentially good opponents get Connor down to super bantam. So I know that like if it's the right fight, he'll make the weight. Like, do you know what I mean? He's very good, very structured and very disciplined, Connor. Like if some days he just like randomly just fucking stop eating carbs for a couple of days just to come in later, and I'm like, I didn't ask you to do that. He's like, I know what I wanted to, and it's like, just come in later then. He's just like his discipline, like a lot of fighters could take a lot from a fighter like Conor Kerr. His discipline at this early stages as well in his pro career, unbelievable. Like
he's a
next
bit
to none.
Sort of in some ways, obviously he's a bit eccentric. Obviously he's always happy, he's always smiley. We see it in his interviews.
He's a bit of crack about him. Like we're not good crack.
No. It's easy for you to.
Good energy.
If you know he's similar to you in a way,
okay.
In some ways, it obviously makes it easier to coach someone, and that means you can get the best out of them early on. We see so much with a lot of fighters is what they do in the gym, it's hard to bring to the ring. Whereas if you get that connection with your fighter in that way, it's easy to transition from what he spars to what he brings into the ring.
Completely agree with you, and I think he's showed a lot of talent already in his first 2 outings. Like I think like it's clear to see that he's got a lot of pedigree and all that thing. And look, we do get on there'll be days where I'm a wee bit maybe tired, or like I've been really busy and maybe a bit zonked, and he can tell, and he'll be switched on that. And there's days where I sort of know that I'm not pushing the day, like, 'cause I know you sort of can know that you're a bit busted and stuff. So I think there's a real art as well as a coach to learn when to push a fighter and when to pull back, and that's something I don't think I've completely mastered it just yet, but I'm working on mastering it. There's days where I'll go, we'll plan the big session, I don't think it's the right day for that, and we'll pull back, and then there's days where we'll go, you're flying, right? I'm going to push on a wee bit. So I think that had relationship with Connor's class, and because we boxed together as amateurs and all as well, like, I mean, so there was only a short period of time like before I sort of wrapped it up. But so it's just building good bonds, and like I think me and him have a really good bond, like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's gonna tell him an exciting career. I think he's a lot to offer, Connor, like, do you know what I mean? And his marketability as well, he sort of probably appeals to both sides of the community as well. His girlfriend's from West Belfast, got the girl from West Belfast, and we're actually up in Forsay at our mother's funeral recently, and we're walking into the chapel, into the Catholic chapel, and he's like, I might burn, you know, but he's still got that bit of wit and crack about him, you know, like there's no, and there's no, like he, as I said, appeals to both sides of the community, which I think is important when you're from Belfast, like, do you know what I mean? I think that'll be a big thing for him, and I think that people will really see his talent over the coming years, and there's going to be big opportunities with Matchroom coming and stuff, and let's piggyback and enjoy.
Obviously he's someone that you probably know more than anybody. Obviously it's joined the gyms, obviously Owen and Neill. Obviously I can still think I was actually with Paddy and Tom McCarthy where they did an interview, and after the spar,
couple of legends
after the spar and the pads and stuff, Tommy was lying down in the ring floor, and I remembered the picture we had took with Paddy standing and all the sparring partners all on the floor, and I was thinking back, and obviously at that stage Owen hadn't turned over, he was obviously learning the ropes with obviously yourself and Jared, but you've obviously seen Owen's career, you've obviously still stayed friendly with him. Obviously he's probably had problems obviously last year, not obviously inside and outside the ring, obviously not making weight for obviously the fight with Gaughran and obviously losing his granddad and granny over the last couple of years. So in some ways you're probably elated probably in some ways to get Owen, because you know how he ticks probably more than anybody. He's always coming through tough times, but obviously tough people come through tough times, so probably the right time for you to start your partnership with Owen.
A guy, it was always a tough one when sort of like when I decided that sort of stable wasn't for me anymore, and I had ambitions to open this gym, and it was tough to walk away from the like zone. Like I'd done his corner, and then it sort of says, look, I'm out now, it's me, I'm going on to sort of do my own thing here, and that was hard, and it was hard for him to understand. We eventually a couple months later went for on 6 interviewings and just sort of explain where my head was at and where I was going, but like he's like my wee brother, no, it's just that we born, just have to try and obviously cut that barrier when we're in the ring, because like obviously remember that like I'm there to protect him, like, do you know what I mean, because like I know that there's going to be some tasty fights where I have to obviously have his best interest at times, you know what I mean, so it's knowing that there is a time that we can get on really well, and then another time, right, I don't take any shit from him. Like he'll probably talk in the interview soon about like he gets a 7:30 phone call, I was laughing my father, but he's like, get up boy, I'm out walking, where are you? so I'm absolutely busting his nut at the minute, and I'm just trying to get him into that better mindset, and he is, since he's came, he's already massively improving, and I personally believe Owen with me is going to improve massively, and I've got a bit of OCD, like I'm just really focused on it and just cracking a few things I think that are going to make him fight in a better sort of style. I'm trying to improve parts of his style, not knocking any of the work that he done a great job. I'm 12-0 Celtic champion, knockout of the year. Credit where credit's due there, but I just feel me and Owen, the bond is going to be long, and we've already talked about him coming and helping me with corners as well, and potentially down the line getting the seconds and maybe being part of my team as my second. I know I tried to push for Paddy, but sure, Paddy's way on my mark now, and they're doing their own thing, which is great to see. Obviously I want to see everybody do well. There's plenty of room for everybody in Irish boxing to get a good crack at this, like, do you know what I mean? But I think we've a great bond, and I think that like even when he was younger and we rammed, I used to push him, and I think he lacked that. Maybe he lacked someone just in his ear every day, you know what I mean? And understand obviously maybe he was very busy with a lot of fighters, very hard to maybe focus on one, but like I'm not torturing him in a bad way, but I'm on him, I'm making him weigh in every single week, like I'm checking him, I'm keeping on top of him, making him train twice a day sometimes just to make sure that he's doing things properly. I'm really on top of him in a way, in a good way, like, do you know what I mean? And he'll tell you himself, I'm sure it'd be better coming from him, like, you know, let him do the talking about the difference between obviously the changeover in camp and stuff, or how it's affecting him in a positive light, in a positive way. But I do, yeah, I'm excited for Owen, and it's a bit of a rebuild. I know people will be expecting to throw him straight into big title fights, but no, I want to see him do certain things well, and Paulie's in the same sort of agreement. But as I said, I'll let Owen talk about that. I don't want to go too far into what the plans are, do you know what I mean? But we've got plans for him, we've definitely got plans.
And obviously, the third person obviously in the stable, obviously the more recent obviously announcement, obviously WBC Youth World Champion, obviously Katelyn, Phelan. I know there's other belts attached to stuff there as well.
Yeah, I don't know much about them governing boards as well.
I think sometimes I think as they're called, sometimes some of these fighters are, and it's not a discredit to the belt or anything else like that, or to fighters, but they're like ABC belts. There's obviously so many belts, so many things that say World Champion and stuff. The most important one I take out is the WBC Youth, because that leads you on to the WBC World Title and things like that. But obviously, I've seen Katelyn there in the gym before we started the interview, and it's crazy to think that she's nearly 3 years out of the ring, still around 23, 24, experienced as a pro, obviously coming back from obviously an elbow operation. I'm going to be interviewing her shortly as soon as well, and so tell on that. But obviously delighted to be obviously your first female, obviously professional as well. So I guess it's good to knock out one off. Someone can't say Dan Anderson's sexist, he only trains males, but that shows the progression that female professional boxing has taken. I was saying to Katelyn there when she last fought, there wasn't as many Irish female professionals.
Oh, it's buzzing.
And now it's crazy. But
I'm so excited about it.
It's Katelyn's obviously won, like obviously she went and done obviously she went to her opponent's backyard in Germany.
In the backyard,
and obviously destroyed her, obviously made her quit pretty much to a degree. So you obviously are being, you're part of Katelyn Phelan 2.0 coming through, and probably that's another one that excites you. And I say, where I said at the start of the interview, you want quality rather than quantity. There's 3 fighters there that are all of great quality, and they've all got different characteristics.
Different attributes.
There's all going to build and help each other.
And that is a big thing. Like, so I haven't actually put a wee video up, and like their first session, they were all in together there in January, and we've done a wee bit of strength and conditioning work, just a bit of testing, all shouting each horn, cheering each other on, and like it's class to see. And I know I'm so excited about Katelyn. Like it makes me, it actually warms my heart. It makes me really, really happy working with her. She's very young, obviously she's only 23, and she's done a lot for a 23-year-old world bronze for Ireland as a youth, and then to turn pro at 19, she's very, very young. Do you know what I mean? I'm working with a wee 19-year-old at the minute, and God, I'd love to keep him boxing amateur for plenty of time more. Like, do you know what I mean? Young TJ, and what a talented kid. But like 19 turning pro, God, and to go and do what she's done. Like, it's strange because like you're building relationships with fighters and you don't even realise it. Like, we were away with Owen then. That was the last time I was in Owen's corner, actually. That was the last time I was in Owen's corner. Luxembourg, the whole lockdown, melting, all the stress, and are we allowed to fly, this document and that, and it was fucking shit show. And I'm in the middle of building this, actually. I'm in the middle of creating this gym and trying to get equipment in, and oh God, like to think back, that was turmoil. Absolute turmoil.
It's crazy to think that's 3 years coming up.
Oh, it scares me. It actually makes me sick with thought of lockdown. But so this time 3 years ago I got the keys. Well, 2 weeks prior I got the keys to this, and Jesus, come on lads, since then. But you don't realise you're building relationships, so it was like wrapping their hands, and I was like, oh, someone says how good she was, and she'd previously done this and that. This was after she'd won her titles, and I was like, oh God, I have to watch her. I remember watching her going, whoa, there's something special about that girl. She's really talented. I liked the way she was dipping and setting up shots and her setups, and how she was boxing. I liked her feet work, I liked her defence, I liked the lad. There was just so much characteristics about her. I was like, she's absolutely lethal. And credit to Neill again. I'll always give credit to the other coaches. He'd done a great job and had a lot of success for her. But she had went for an operation, and she'd been in touch with me. She's been in touch with me the last couple of years. It hasn't been like, it hasn't been just a random, like, can I come up? It was like 1 or 2 years I'm thinking about coming back. And I was like, well look, I'm here, look, listen, I have a gym. And she was asking, do you do much down south? I'm like, my gym's in Belfast. So I can go down south to take a sparring, I can come down, but I can't commit to like coming down there to train. So I think it was our first conversation. And then there was another one after, and saying, I want to go to Belfast. I'm like, geez, what? I'm ready to rock. No, you're more than welcome. So
is that a great compliment? You in a way, obviously she's saying there, it takes her 2 hours. 2 hours up, 2 hours
minutes,
down.
2 hours 20 minutes, and that's going at a decent speed.
But is that not a great compliment to you in the fact that obviously someone's prepared to obviously travel for that far, you know, three times a week, up and down in the same day? Is that not a great compliment to you in a way, the fact that somebody's happy to drive for over 2 hours in a day, to see the happy, smiling Dan Anderson, to get beasted, and then they obviously drive back down home again, and as she said, obviously there, and I'll not obviously spoil too much for obviously the interview may do it, but she was saying obviously she's busted at the end of the time she gets home and she just wants to sleep. So is that not a great credit that someone who wants to spend 3 days a week coming to Belfast just to train with Dan Anderson? Is that not your best effort?
Well, obviously there must be doing something right. Do you know what I mean? Like a girl of that calibre with that amateur pedigree and well, them sort of tales, they don't work with someone. Like she tried loads of other coaches, she spoke to different managers and stuff, and I recommended the name as a good fit for her, and a lot of respect for and Gaughran doing great work, and just have to give my wee shout out there as well. I mean, I have a really good sort of relationship and a bit like a partnership now at times when it comes to working with fighters. But it's a compliment, yes, and it's a compliment even like young Gregor coming over to want to spend a bit of campaign, get a bit of sparring, a bit of pads with me and stuff, and then obviously Dom travelled as well. Like, no, it is a compliment, no, but like I know exactly where I'm going in boxing. It's like for me, I don't want to believe in my own hype, I'm not trying to hype myself up, but like I know how hard I've worked at this. I know I've earned my right to be in these corners. I know I've earned my right to work with this sort of calibre fighter, and I know that it hasn't been easy at times, and I know that like I've had loads of ups and downs and struggles mentally, fucking emotionally, different things happening and stuff, and get that heater back on again. But we don't want to get cold. Like I know I've had a lot of like struggles to get to here, and I've dealt with a lot of shit, do you know what I mean? To get to here, like, so, like, I sort of feel, yes, okay, it's a compliment, but I sort of feel like I'm in a privileged position because I put myself here. You don't create luck. Like, people think, oh, he's lucky, they're coming to him, and it's like, nah, that's not the way it works. You create sort of good fighters, or you create an aura in the gym that people want to be involved in. You create something special, and me and Anderson Boxing, you know what I mean? A bit of legacy that's always going to carry on throughout the years, and hopefully down the year I will bring through great coaches after me, do you know what I mean? And they continue to carry on Anderson Boxing. But I think I'm obviously privileged, and it's like a real good compliment, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, but as I said, I put myself here. I work my absolute stones off. I show up every single day. My favourite saying, 90% of life is just showing up, you know what I mean? I'm here every day, and I'm available to them all the time as well. They want to get me on the phone. They need to text me about something they're worried about, something they're unsure about, something. Could be nutrition, strength and conditioning. As I said, I've had an extensive career working in the sport, and I'm able to bring all my attributes together now, do you know what I mean? From a technical boxing perspective as well.
When obviously, because obviously it's your job or everything else, you obviously have to plan everything else. But when we look at obviously Irish boxing last year with 15 shows, and I'm probably predicting at least 20 probably this year.
Absolutely love it.
Where do you sort of then start to fit in for your fighters? Obviously you've Conor Kerr who's still building, sort of to agree. I think his next fight is that 6th rounder. I'm not sure, you correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously Owen coming back, Katelyn coming back. Ideally, what do you sort of looking fight-wise for them this year? They maybe looking 3 or 4 fights each, or is that balance well? It probably works better if someone's in the same cards together because it's easier to plan rather than a week.
Okay, it just depends what opportunities present themselves. Like you could say, like me and Conor were like, we'll get 3 fights in the first year, and 2 opportunities came. I just think it's the right fights at the right time and the right opportunities. So like, if Conor got 2 fights and they were the right fights, it would be better than having 3 or 4 that didn't really give us what we wanted or what direction we wanted to go. Do you know what I mean? So, if I would like Conor to get bare minimum 3, I would like Owen to get bare minimum 3, and probably the same for Katelyn. If they all get 3 fights and obviously 3 solid wins, I'd be a happy coach by the end of the year. And I sort of am at a point now as well, like where like a big thing for me is going to be investing, getting them across the water and spawn, and you know, my child of Lanzarote, like, so I want to eventually get a place there and be able to bring fighters there in the winter and stuff. I don't plan to spend the winter in the cold, like, do you know what I mean? I plan to spend as much of the winter in the sun as possible, and hopefully with fighters then, or definitely with fighters, not hopefully, because it will happen, because I'll make it happen, because as I said, I'm going to do it, but it's getting them quality spawn and maybe getting them away and stuff, and I want to put that out there that I'm considering maybe getting a sponsor for Anderson Boxing, someone that's going to get a load of media shout-outs and get a lot of press coverage, and obviously be in all the photos, get their logo up in the gym, because I'd like someone to maybe help me on the journey with maybe getting fighters across the water a bit more and getting more sparring opportunities. And sure, if we had a sponsor for the gym, it would make that a bit easier, like, do you know what I mean? So, chance me arm there, God loves a try. I sort of got lost in the tangent, haven't I there, like, so.
I was going to sort of say, obviously going back to Paddy, obviously where you've been in his corners, and obviously he's helped in corners, stuff like that as well. Will it be weird for you? Obviously you'll probably be at this, obviously ultra hall card, but it'll be weird for you to see Paddy standing in the corner coaching himself. I know obviously he's got back so long. I obviously watched him obviously giving Tommy instructions in the spar and stuff the other day, and I was sort of going, I really still wish it was Paddy in the ring. You know, if obviously he wasn't robbed in this picture with Jenkins, if he wasn't robbed in that fight, we probably don't know where Paddy would still be in boxing. He could be a world champion, obviously you just don't know where he could have been, but I guess that's worked out for the better. He obviously he's built his own gym, and obviously it's very successful and everything else. But will it be weird in a way, obviously, where you're probably going to have to pass. Don't get me wrong, obviously Paddy really good amateur, really good pro. He's obviously involved with
well, he deserves to do, yeah.
He's involved with the obviously Irish setup and stuff there as well. But you'll be able to help and obviously give him. You know, he'll go, damn, what did you do with me and such? You'll be able to pass on knowledge to him now for his coaching. So it's nearly it's like a mini version of yourself sort of coming through in some ways with Paddy.
Okay, well, credit to Jared as well. You can't look past Jared. Jared would probably give Paddy a lot of philosophies and ideologies, I suppose, like, when it comes to boxing, like, do you know what I mean? So, no, it's class, and like, he has spoken to me a couple of times, just a couple of wee things maybe have helped, like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say too much, like, do you know what I mean? But I'm always there to help Paddy, and maybe with Tommy or whoever he decides the coach, like, do you know what I mean? Ideally, yes, he would have been by my side, but I just think obviously he's got his own gym and his own stuff. We're both on very busy schedules. We struggled to get a coffee or a bit of lunch together at this time. You know what I mean?
Who bought?
Well, we flipped the coin. No, Paddy bought me a steak last time actually. We done James Freeman's corner actually. He done James Freeman, he bought me a nice steak and stuff. And we were meant to do something at Christmas, it never happened. But we're actually struggling to even get time together, and we're so close. Like, geez, Paddy once again is a bit like a wee brother, and I sort of tend to build these friendships and relationships with boxers, like, do you know what I mean? But I know I'm really excited for him, and like geez, Alfred, do you need me to help you in the corner? And I offered to be the second, geez, if you need me. But obviously Mark's involved now as well, so got up straight away. I seen it, says, do you want me to help you in any way? And a few things maybe I could just have my opinion on, but I know I'm buzzing for him, and it's going to be really weird. It was weird even when commentating that day. You know, when we commentated, I think it was weird, and I wasn't actually at that show for some reason.
Commentating, and now obviously they're part of the same corner. It's like, you know, there's going to be loads of crack.
Oh,
there, you know,
even the training camp would say that, like, you could be a fly on the wall, you'd be pissing yourself laughing, because Tommy's a legend. Like, I have a lot of respect, and Tommy boxed in America in 2012 in Dover as an amateur, and he didn't actually fight that time. There was no fight for him, like, but Mick boxed on that, and Trum McCullough and Tommy and Roy Sheehan, our Roy boy, legend, he's our legend as well, like Trum McCullough as well. But no, Tommy's legend, and what a pair up, him and Paddy, and obviously Ginley. Like, no, I could wish them all the best, and geez, I would love to see them get the win. Gee, what a scalp as well, Chevron Clark. It's a hard fight, like, I've watched a lot of Chevron Clark actually, just watching boxing, like, but no, he's no dozer, like, so he's a hard fight, but I'm sure Tommy will feel he's a tool to beat him, and if Tommy sticks to his boxing, it could be a boxing masterclass, and I think you can sort of see what they're working on, like, they're looking Tommy to be a bit more, like, obviously elusive and stuff, which Tommy's very good at, you know what I mean? So, exciting for Paddy, and I wish them all the best, so, like, I want to see them get the win. And, yeah.
Hopefully he'll invite you up for dinners, and I've been calling him Paddy Ramsey.
I don't hear his food's unbelievable, Jesus.
I'm wondering, obviously, and I know, obviously, I met his missus, obviously, at the last weigh-in for, obviously, for the last show in December, and I was saying, was it her doing the cooking, or was it him? But obviously, he's on every Sunday at like 7 o'clock in the morning. He's obviously putting up his things, and
he's unbelievable.
He obviously puts a lot of thought and obviously a lot of preparation to it as well. So maybe he might invite me and you both up for dinner.
I'd love that. You know, bring the camera and we'll talk a bit of boxing. I still haven't had one of them meals, which is weird. It's crazy because like me and Paddy would have spent every single weekend, day and minute together, like, because we worked together, and he was part of PPT at one point, the business end of things, when I initially got PPT up and running and stuff. Years and years ago, a long time ago, 10 years ago or something, maybe 10 years maybe, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10, I was back to frames, God, it was a long time ago anyway. But he's not still part of that, because I sort of seen these boxing, didn't really have any work, and like, they're sort of like, right, well, they're going to get into PT, and like, you know what I mean, and I think he was taking a wee bit of pods for people. But me and him has been on such a journey together, like, we were up the first thing in the morning doing the track. I was still fighting at the time when I was doing this corner, still boxing as an amateur, and it's just like you're with him every week an hour, and then just separates you, like, do you know what I mean? And there's still a lot of love and respect, like, for Paddy, and I think he has the same for me. Like, we have a lot of some stories to tell. Jesus, we could write a book about some of the stories and some of the situations we've been in though over the years, and amazing situations like America, and even waking up half watered one time and he knocked some boy out and come down for breakfast, and there's Frampton and the McGuigan all sitting there and they're laughing at me, and they're laughing especially at me. Did you have a good night last night? Paddy won the Celtic title and knocked out Tony Dixon. I must have walked in for. I knocked him clean spark in the first round, and it was potentially meant to be a hard fight for him. And I'd fought the night before actually that fight in London against Frampton, and I'd literally get the train up to do the corner. Paddy's working with Breen then, and McGee was in the corner as well, but he knocked him out, like, and I was only really helping out a wee bit, so like me and Paddy went on the piss after, and we got absolutely steaming. I think there's a memory of us throwing chicken nuggets at people. We just got loads of McDonald's and started throwing, just having a bit of crack. But you can imagine the camaraderie and friendship, and then as Paddy's career went on, things got a lot more serious, and I got obviously a lot more heavily involved as the second, and obviously at one point I was trying to get him ready for a comeback after that fight, and just his head wasn't in it and his heart wasn't in it no more. Boxing, as I say, it's very, very unfair at times, very unfair, especially the likes of Paddy Gallagher. He deserves so much more, deserve so much bigger paydays and deserve so much more success, but you don't get what you deserve sometimes, you know what I mean?
I think sometimes there's only so many robberies and so many bad decisions that sort of go against you. Always remember the...
Break your heart.
Remember the Keith
Broke my heart too, and I was only in the corner, never mind being the fiddler. Like.
I think he had 3 pretty much nearly back to back. Obviously the WBC tournament, the Jose Solomon tournament.
It was class. He was unbelievable that night.
Yeah,
Class.
I think did he go from that... Sorry, the Cute fight was before that, was it?
Freddie Cute.
Cute fight was before that. Did they then do that? No, Cute fight.
No, Cute come after that. Cute was the one that went near enough, because we went in that, and I know Paddy's head said, was like, this guy's a novice, I'm going to batter him. And that played against him, I think. Do you know what I mean? And Cute was really tricky and awkward.
I think he had the Jose Solomon tournament, then obviously broke his jaw.
No, he came back from America.
I think he sort of went back to back from sort of bad decisions.
What do you call that? He was called Hellraiser or something, was he? What do you call the guy he's meant to fight? And he was being Gaughran. Gaughran was an absolute ball bag, sorry for swearing, but he was a ball bag and slabbering with Paddy about his broken jaw, just being really nasty and not nice and Kerr if he sees this. I would tell him the same to his face, but he just horrible. He said something about, you're lucky I didn't get you, I'd have done this or that, and it's just Paddy unfortunately got his jaw broke, like, do you know what I mean? Really serious. I'll never forget Taylor McGold, like, phone and ringing Taylor, I go, can't get a hold of Paddy, what's going on now? What's the crack here? We've got a 9-foot fight. He goes, he got his jaw broke. And I laughed. I was like, wise up this last spar. Jesus, last spar.
I remember he texts me, Paddy texts me as well.
Break your heart.
Because I think I was sorting something out for tickets or something for him, and he texts me and he says, I'm off the card, and I was like, aye, right, Paddy, dead on.
He thought he was taking the piss.
And then
I thought they were taking, when I was told first, I was like, you're taking the fucking piss here, like, but
just sort of Paddy, isn't it? It's obviously just the fact that everything sometimes is a joke and you're going, aye, right, dead on.
You just wouldn't believe it, would you, like, do you know what I mean? But no, what a journey and what a great place Irish boxing's in, and I'm obviously enjoying it and riding the wave, and like I'm here to stay, and I'm sort of like I'm a full camp now, you know. So I know a couple of amateurs are talking to me, and different ones are maybe looking at me and thinking I'm potentially available to train them, and I'm not at the minute because I'm going to put my heart and soul into these 3 this year, like, do you know what I mean? So obviously that opportunity eventually might come, take more fighters on, but like my main focus is these 3, like, so I'm excited. And what a year ahead, and great to actually get back to you. 6 months, so we'll do again. We'll do another 6 months, and hopefully I've backed it all up.
I've just looked at the timer here, and obviously we've come to the end, but obviously 47 minutes. So
oh jeez, we're up the arse out of it.
If anybody obviously watches this full interview, please obviously reach out to Dan afterwards, and he'll obviously give you a session of therapy. Obviously, we're listening to the 2 of us for so long, but
this is therapy here for me. But this is my therapy.
It's your therapy. But if someone actually listens to this, obviously your missus will obviously watch the full interview to see if you say anything nice about her.
Well, it did. I always give her a compliment. Good girl.
But obviously, you know, if someone watches this full obviously interview, obviously I'll tag Dan obviously on Instagram. Obviously, I'm putting this up. But obviously, if someone watches this, give us a shout and Dan, and we'll give you a prize for obviously watching it all.
28-day challenge.
but obviously, I thank you very much. Obviously, as their 6-month therapy session done, we'll obviously no doubt see it. Well, obviously shows with Connor and Katelyn and Owen coming up. But
exciting
we'll
times
look
ahead.
forward to probably the summertime. We'll not need to put 50p's in the meter.
It's not on a meter. You hit the button.
but obviously, thank you very much for your time. Obviously, I have a couple of 4 or 5 weeks before Connor comes back in action, and obviously the other 2 will have fight news soon.
They're getting the night shortly, yeah.
But thanks very much for your time, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, Murray. Thank you, guys. All right, cheers.